So a lot of you guys in the comments have been saying just how unsafe my go-kart is. So today I'm going to show you exactly how safe it is, and I'm going to run this chicken leg through it and show you that it will come out completely unscathed. So as you guys just saw, this chicken is completely untouched, looks perfectly fine. So I'm gonna deem this cart safe. Now I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go take this thing and cook up some dinner. Today, I'm gonna be figuring out how to get the brake pedal into this Power Wheels go-kart. Gonna be removing the fuel system and the chain in order to give us more room to figure out how we're gonna get that pedal in here. I need a dedicated support that comes across here that's going to be specifically for our pedal brackets. I am not able to use this support because that fuel tank overhangs that, so I'm just going to have to attach another one. And I have this tube here from the original go-kart, so I'm going to cut these tabs off and get them cleaned up. Hopefully this tube will be small enough to fit in there without interfering with anything, and hopefully it'll be strong enough to hold our pedals. Got this piece cleaned up, got the fuel tank just sitting in here, nothing's tightened down. Now I am gonna attach this here, but I do wanna get it a little bit lower. I wanna get those pedals as low as I can, so I'm gonna notch it and try to nest it in between this frame. Here's the piece we ended up with. Doesn't look like much right here, but once we get it onto the cart, you can see we got it recessed about halfway down into the frame. Underneath the cart here, these two tubes butt up, so we're gonna have to weld that together. Here's what it's gonna look like with the pedal attached, and it'll just pivot right on that point. But of course, before we weld this tube, we're gonna have to finish welding out everything underneath it because we're not gonna have access once we weld this in. It's the next weekend. I let the camera die and I didn't have any batteries charged up, so looks like we got some welding to do today. Our support's tacked in, and that'll give us a nice plate to mount the pedals. And I wasn't planning on welding this the whole way across like I did, but I did have a gap in that tube, and that just took care of that. Pedal's gonna get attached like so, but these brackets are pretty tall, so I'm gonna cut them down and try to sink this pedal down a little bit more just to keep it away from the engine as much as possible. You can see just how much I took off of that. It's about a ½ inch. One down, 6 to go. May as well take care of the gas pedal while I'm at it. The height of that pedal is much better, got more room in here. So now we just gotta get these welded in. This middle tab's gonna have to get welded in first, and then we'll go ahead and tack in these two outer tabs. All right, brake pedal is in, fits quite nicely, and it is a little stiff right now, but we got paint and all sorts of gunk in there. Eventually we will grease that up, and we're gonna have to throw some sort of spring and some stops on this so it can return back to where it is. But now we're gonna work on getting the master cylinder in. So we got this little rod here. This gets clipped into that pedal we just installed, and it just pushes on a little plunger in here. So I got that little rod attached to our pedal here, and this master cylinder, I'm thinking I'm gonna try to fit it right up in here. Now we're gonna have to create some sort of bracket that attaches this master to the frame. So we're definitely gonna need the cardboard for that. And then as this pedal comes forward, it'll just depress that plunger and we should be good to go. Just to have a little more room to work in there, I am gonna pull this engine. As I pulled that fuel line, the fuel went down this hose and shoots and laddered right into my little cubby compartment down there, so that's nice. So with this cardboard, I think I'm gonna trace around these tubes and get it kind of settled where I need to around this frame. And then I can take this master cylinder and kind of move it wherever I need to, and then I can trace out the rest of it. Took several tries, but this is the piece we came up with. Now this is gonna get welded onto the frame like so. And then our master cylinder will get attached to this piece. And we may have to kind of change the angle of this, but we can mess with that once we get this cut out of steel. I went ahead and tacked this plate in just to see if everything was going to work and clamp the master cylinder to it. Now I do have this master cylinder more at an angle than I originally cut this plate. I just wanted this angle of the master cylinder to match the angle of this rod here. So I am just going to scribe a line here and trim that plate to match and make it look a lot better. But I do think that this is going to work out. The only issues I'm seeing so far is that this pedal is bottoming out right here on the top of that master cylinder. So we're just gonna have to find some other plate that this pedal can bottom out on. That way we're not just beating up that master cylinder. Got this piece that's about done. Ignore that oblong hole, the bit walked on me, but that just gives me a little bit of adjustment. I'm just gonna tell people I meant to do that. So I went ahead and created a cardboard template for the other side. So I'm gonna get this transferred over to steel, drill some holes in it, and everything should be ready to tack in place. Really happy with how this turned out, and it fits in here really nicely. So we're just about ready to tack it in, but there's a couple things we need to weld up first. So we're gonna weld this seam here, and then we're gonna weld this on because it's just gonna be really hard to weld those once that's in. There was a ton of oil in these grooves, so I blew them out as best as I could. I'm gonna take a wire wheel to them, and I'm gonna spray some paint prep in there and try to get all that gunk out before we weld it. All right, brake pedal is in and it works quite well. Now, like I said before, it is smacking this master cylinder, so we are gonna have to find a way to limit the travel down so that way it's not hitting that. And then we're also gonna have to find a way to limit the travel up because there is the possibility that this pedal gets pulled up and this little pin comes loose. And if that pin does come out, whoever's riding this thing is not gonna be having a fun day. They're not gonna be able to stop it. And on the next one, I do wanna throw the gas pedal in this thing since that's pretty much done. I probably won't hook it up just yet because I wanna start working on the chain tensioner. That's gonna be the next thing I wanna work on because that's probably the most important thing to get this thing to roll down the road. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the love and support. Hit that subscribe button if you want to. If not, keep watching the videos and maybe you'll hit it one day. Peace. So I'm gonna deem this cart safe. Should I slap the cart or no? Is that too much?